Good morning. Welcome to Phallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and today we're going to talk about humanitarian projects. And I'm going to share a little bit with you um, about what I've learned on my spiritual journey, and hopefully that'll help you on yours. Looks like we've got a lot of people in the chat today. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. So, this entire show is going to be thoughts over coffee. Okay. I was awakened by the dogs at 5 a.m. and got about 5 hours sleep. So if I look a little ragged, that's what happened. But I had a lot of time to think this morning. And soon, we're coming up on the time when people will begin working on humanitarian projects. The humanitarian spirit will have the means to be who they really are and to give. And along that journey, everybody thinks, okay, well, I'm going to have the means. I'm not going to have to worry about money anymore. I can go out there and I can really do all these projects. And some people that I've talked to have so many projects, just hoping to get something. Really need to rethink that. Because you got to take a look at what truly drives you, what truly inspires you, what's coming from the depths of your soul. Because intention and everything, or intention is everything. And if you're setting off on a project that doesn't come from that place, if you just say, well, I see this problem that needs to be solved, so I'm going to do that, it's not going to be enough to sustain you. You're not going to be as successful as choosing something that is truly like your soul vocation, that truly drives you. So, and along the way, you're going to go through all kinds of lessons and have all kinds of emotions. But you had, first and foremost, we have to make sure that we're doing it for the right reasons. And I'm only going to use myself as an example. And people ask me, well, if you had all the money you ever needed, would you retire and just go have fun? Well, I'd have a little bit of fun, yeah. But I'm already doing my humanitarian project. I'm bringing people closer to God. I'm trying to wake them up to understand that they've never been alone and that the programming of society in an attempt to control God through you stands in the way of shining fully. But if I were to have all the money that I could ever need, yeah, there's no way I can just stop being me. I'd be, if I didn't have these outlets to talk to you or to talk to people or to do the healings or to do any of that, I'd be standing in line at the grocery store and talking to everybody there. It would come out one way or another. And for whatever reason, stepped onto this path a long time ago, but it's kind of always been who I am. And that's what you really need to look at. Take a deep look down inside you. What really drives you? The root of it. What is it? What is it that you want to do? Like for me, you could say, as somebody asked me a long time ago. Well, my mom told me a story a long time ago that her father, Papa, told her famous one-liners from Papa that in life, all you really need to do is find the one good thing, the one thing that you're really good at, and do that. And devote all your time and effort and schooling and everything to that. And if their direction in that should fail, there's always another way that you can still do that. And so, somebody I remember when I was dating, when I was single before I got married a while ago, somebody asked me, "What is it that you really do well?" I'm like, well, no, that's pretty mediocre. I guess that's acceptable. Um, and I really thought about it, and I was like, I really know how to love. I mean, that's been the root in every situation. The times that I've held back, the times that I've given, what drives me forward is pretty much try to be the best I can to those who will accept it. And life, as hard as it is, time and time again, I've found that most people aren't appreciative of that. And there's nothing you can do. I asked Jesus one time, you know, what if I give to this person and they don't use those funds or that love or whatever it is in the way that I intended for them to use it? And he said, it's none of your business. And I was kind of like, okay, I was sorry for asking, but what he said was, your part was simply to give. It's in their hands after that. If you give money to somebody on a street corner and you're worried they're going to go buy drugs with it or something, they have been given an opportunity to eat. They have been given an opportunity to use this in a positive way. It is now their decision, their choice, their path, whether they choose to do that or not. And so he said, don't worry about whether the results of giving turn out the way you intended it to be. When you give, you let go of that gift and you let it be theirs. And so as we set off on this path, there will be joy and there will be sorrow and there will be accomplishment and disappointments and there will be everything else, a big emotional journey. But you have to remember, at the base of it all, the most important thing is that you gave. And your intentions for giving have to be honest and true. And let it just be that. And take off the control strings on that gift. When we give somebody a gift for their birthday, we give them a nice shirt and say, well, I'd like you to wear this on Wednesdays and Thursdays, maybe every other month. Between these hours and that hours, and, I'd like you to wear it with this pants and do your hair such a way. We don't do that. It's theirs. It's their shirt. You want to sit on the thing on the couch, go ahead. I have given you something nice. If you want to use it as a dish rag, go ahead. We have given, and it is now theirs. And we have no right to tell them what to do with their shirt. So, I talk to a lot of people in the Patriot community all day long, and I hear their concerns about giving. So don't worry about that. Let that be in their hands. Let that be in God's hands. When Jesus came, and I asked him one time, so if you're Jewish and you're worried about me talking about Jesus, I'm going to talk about Jesus. I'm going to sing his praises. I'm going to talk about Jesus, and it's not going to change, all right? But I asked him one time, so let's clear this up right away. So if you're not going to Jesus, go to God. Who did Jesus go to? God. Did Jesus come to the earth to sing his own praises? Absolutely not. He came to remind you you're loved by God. Root of the entire experience. I asked Jesus one time, I said, well, what about Jewish people? Because I had a real problem as a Catholic with some of the things that I believe man wrote in to be superior over others. And anything that makes somebody superior over others, I've always had a problem with. So I'm just like, you go. So I asked Jesus, well, what about Jewish people? What about those who just go directly to God? I said, what if they're Jewish? He says, so was I. Problem solved. No more division, right? No more division. We're all working with God. And the statement I used to have a problem with was, well, I kind of do still, but nobody comes to the Father but through me. Let's pick that apart, shall we? Because Jesus at the core came to teach us about love. And that we were loved unconditionally. And in each and every piece of us, we're all brothers and sisters, right? Nobody comes to the Father but through me. What does that sound like? Does it sound like Jesus? Does it sound like love? No. That sounds like a rewrite to control humanity is what it sounds like to me. No, you don't go off to those other places. You come in here and put your money, your coins in our coffers. And you don't, and there was a time people weren't even allowed to read the word. Now feel the energy of that statement. It's control. That is human. Now listen to this statement. This is what I think he really said. At the time that he came, people felt that they were worthless. They were dirt. They would not be accepted. They were bad and lowly and peasants and only the rulers or whatever were divine. They do so much just to be accepted that there's no possible way God would love me. And so I believe what Jesus said was, if you feel you're unworthy to come to the Father, then come through me. Did you feel that? That's love. That's the difference. And people over time have been convinced by society that it is so hard to be accepted, that it is so hard to be loved. And people with a humanitarian spirit suffer a lot because, and then some of them become hardened and they learn, I can't keep giving, I can't give love to that person because that person really hurt me. They took advantage of that. Or why do I give so much out and nobody gives anything back? Should I suffer for this? Did Jesus suffer? Yeah. Did he have to? No. No. There will always be villains. And that is the influence of the dark side. okay, through them in an effort to control humanity, to control society, and at the very root of their intentions, to control God. Well, how is that? If I'm so lowly, I'm just a grain of sand on the beach, how is God going to know me? How is he going to know my efforts? Is it, you know, how is he going to help me with this? Is he really hearing me? And what I've learned over time is there is no separation. We are little pieces of him, all having different experiences. And because of that, he is you. He is feeling every pain, every joy, every tasting, and everything that you are experiencing, God is experiencing along with you. He has never been absent. And when you turn away from God or even deny God, why does your life get so bad? Because you are experiencing that separation fully. So I usually don't, I've held back except for private students. I'm giving you my God theory. But I think at this point in time, it could be useful to some. So I'm going to share it. Some of you, this is review. Okay? But stay with me. Not even looking at my notes. Write all these stuff down and then I just throw it to the side like the grocery list. Okay. Let's see if I had any points before I get to this. You're all going to want to get comfortable for this one. One thing that has come up time and time again for me, and not to toot my own horn, okay? But I have become aware over time of who I truly am, and that's not some great whatever. I am love. And all the suffering is that I've gone through is because I can't understand why other people aren't and that they wouldn't like be that too. And people ask me, well, why is it that you can do the things that you do with the healings and like get the answers and all that stuff? And it's like, well, because my intentions are true. I mean, I honestly want to. I honestly like for the people, like help me get the answers, like it has to be about them when you're healing somebody. In that moment, you have to love that person. You have to get out of your own way and put all your judgments and everything else aside. And the soul comes in all beaten and battered and everything else. And that is none of your business. Just like the person on the street corner you gave a 20 to. It is about your true, divine intention for that person. And I have a very strong faith. I don't just believe, I know. And I try to keep ego out of it. Yeah, I get all excited when it works, and I get something right. And then I'm like, well, stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Don't be all egotistical, just. But I do get all excited when I hear about the healing and things like that. That's human. You just want to do a good job. But I battle fear and doubt like everybody else. And the one thing, I write this down so I don't, I like to trail off. I'm getting back to it. Hang on. the one thing about doubt is it destroys creation. We're creating, and we're pairing up with the big piece that is God as a tiny little sliver that is God to create the healing for somebody else with the truest divine intent. And then you leave it in their hands. You try your best. And why did I know that this is possible? I didn't. A lot of it hit me by surprise, but my intent was there, and the idea is that why not? Loved unconditionally, God can do anything. Believe that. Try your best, and that's what it's about. And like I don't know, 30 years of learning. So I battle fear, I battle doubt, I battle all those things just like you do. You guys have watched me for years now go through my spiritual journey on screen, and many of you have gone through yours, and nobody saw it. But that knowing that you're connected, and knowing and accepting and stepping back from the doubt and allowing yourself to be loved by Him, and believing that if stepping up and saying, if you will allow me to be this vehicle, if this is what you want me to do, if you allow me to do this because I truly want to, then I'm going to try and be the best vehicle I can for that. And that's all I can do. And why is it possible? Because I want you to look at your life as you and God on a journey. Because in truth, we are all one. But when I tell you that God there, you'll understand what I mean. But I like to think about it that way because, human mind, it's just way too big to understand. It's all very, very complicated, but yet very simple at the same time. And for some reason, one of the things that I'm good at is taking a very complicated subject and making it childlike, very simple. And so that's how I'm going to do it. So this is an abbreviated version of my God theory that I've come across over years. And my aim in telling you this is that maybe something will click and you'll understand that you are not alone on this journey. That when you go off on these humanitarian projects, you are not doing this alone. That it's not so much that you're a chosen one and so special, because that has a lot of ego in it. We really want to get that stuff out of the way. It's that you volunteered, and it's the beauty that's inside your spirit that will drive you forward, and you will share that with those that you come in contact with. So in the beginning, story time. Let me take a drink before I get started. In the beginning, there was God. And I want you to picture God out in the middle of nothing. And it was explained to me in this way. So we have the vase theory, and then we have the bullseye theory. And in the beginning, there was God. And I picture him as a giant illuminated lead crystal vase, very ornate and full of all the knowledge that there ever was and there ever could be. Just hanging out there in the middle of blackness. Okay? Very simple way to explain something very complicated. And God said, well, here I am, all knowing. But am I? Because I am aware of something called experience. And if it's just me and nothing else, how do I experience? And he thought about it. And he made a decision. And the thought, not the word, thoughts come before words, don't they? We have a thought and we translate that into language. And we say the word in our head and then we speak it. Everything is created with thought. And the thought was to create, to experience. And so the thought of creation was born. And I want you to imagine as if this giant crystal vase, you slam it down on a concrete floor and it busts in a billion pieces, okay? Well, not all the pieces are the same size. And there is always a base. And so we move on. Well, we move on to the bullseye theory. So we've got the base at the middle. We've got all these pieces. And so God thought, I will separate myself into pieces. And I will have to forget that I am me in order to go out and to be these pieces. So that I can experience and interact. And I will give them all of the ability to create and freedom of choice and free will, because they will need that in order to forget that they are me and to go and be the pieces that they will become. And then I will have the experience to go with the knowledge. And then I will be fully all-knowing. And so God separated himself. And I want you to think about like a dartboard, a bullseye. He is the big piece in the middle of it all. The unmoved mover. Okay? And so he created your true self, who always resides at home. The first ring around the bullseye. And he said, well, every separation of self must exist at a different vibrational level, spectrum. And he would create a playground in which to create an experience for those pieces. And so you have the seventh heaven and what they call the Garden of Eden, the seventh level of heaven, where everyone's true self resides, the bigger piece of you. And because you were given and you have this unquenching desire to experience and to create, those pieces as well can create a piece of themselves. And it goes on and on and on and on. And that's probably why everything's happening at once. But you've got the big piece in the center. And you've got, and every time that soul separates itself, it has to exist in a different vibrational spectrum from itself, or it'll get sucked back in to the original piece. And so we've got the dimensions. These are dimensions. And so Each dimension out from the bullseye is a lower vibrational spectrum, because in the middle is the highest of vibration, the biggest piece of God, the unmoved mover. What is Jesus? Big piece, bigger piece. He is the masculine vehicle in which God moves around in. Big piece that he does that in. We, right here, right now, little sliver. Little sliver. So it goes on and on and on. And where we're located right now, I'd say would be ground zero. And probably because that's where we're standing. But the vibrational level, the further you move away from the source, think about a campfire. The closer you are to that, the hotter it is. Okay? The more light there is. The further you move away, the less and less you feel it. Is that also why people don't have to eat in heaven? They don't have to sleep, because they have such a high concentration, a high level of that light of creation that provides everything that you possibly would need. And you don't have to replenish that energy. We're located at the battleground dimension. Okay? The dimensions that are a lower vibrational level than ours, it's what you call the dark dimensions, okay? And it gets worse and worse and worse. So from where we stand, if you were to put two mirrors up against each other and take a look how it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats, that's probably what's going on. I think that's more into realities, but I haven't learned everything about that yet. Hang on. Ugh. Hang on. Kid's having a problem. We can fix it, don't worry. So anyway, understanding this will help you understand everything. It will change you. It would help you know that you were never been alone, that you've never been disconnected. And when people curse God and deny God and do all those things, it is a corruption of self. It's not that you have to be in line with all the man-made rules of religion. But your life starts to get worse and worse and worse because you have turned against the source of energy that is truly what you're made of, and you are experiencing what it is to corrupt yourself. And that is a vicious downward spiral that can get really bad, end up in one of those outer dimensions, okay? We don't want to do that. That's why for years and years and years, everybody's saying, raise your vibration. What's that about? God's messages will come through many messengers. So, you want to understand the real war? It's for this dimension. Because the dark side, the pieces of God that have become so corrupted, they have forgotten their origin. And they are so corrupted in mind, they know that you are creators. And so they must numb you and convince you that you are separate and that you don't even exist. That's where the whole I exist in the name of God thing came from Archangel Michael. Why is that protective? Because you are saying, I exist, and so does he, and you have no power over me. This is dark ones, evil. Jesus never refers to it as evil. He refers to it as lies. At the center of the bullseye, at the center of everything, that is the ultimate truth. It is the highest of vibration. There is only knowledge and love. Love creates doubt, fear, all the low vibrational emotions and energies destroy that creation, and then we as human beings end up somewhere in the middle, and that is why the programming is important, because they know. The dark ones, they know you are a piece of God. They are so corrupted they think they are. They want you to believe in lesser gods. They want you to feel separate. They don't want you pulling in more of that light. They don't want you raising that vibration, because they've created these shadows to block it from coming in. And now what's happening to your body? You're starting to get sick. You're depressed. They're trying to get as many as they can. They're trying to corrupt as many pieces of God, because they're so insane that they think that they can conquer every ring of that dartboard all the way to the middle and conquer God through you. And so if you really want to help the effort, and you really want to go out to help people, you cannot be effective alone. That's also the power of prayer. All these to God, pairing up with are creating. So when you pray for somebody, looks like we're having a little bit of Wi-Fi. Am I still here? Give me a yes in the comments if I am. Sorry. Am I here now? Can you see me? Well, I'm not going to allow Darkseid to do that again. Anyway, so I lost my place. Power of prayer. That's why Jesus says, when two or more gather, I am there. Okay? When you take all these little pieces that are here, your intent has to be true. You can't just be like the Catholic Church that I've observed my whole life, where everybody goes there and they're like, yeah, let's okay, everybody, peace, hunger, everything like that. Let's take care of that. Thank you, Jesus. Let's go to lunch. It doesn't work. You gotta mean it. So when you're praying for someone, you make sure that you mean it, and that it's for them and not you. You pray for yourself later, but it's got to be for their highest good, and not for control or not for anything, but their highest good, their healing, their progress, their whatever it is that they truly need or they want. But the power of prayer is so powerful. Because it's all these little pieces coming together to create a bigger piece, and pairing up with the big piece of God at the center with true, honest, divine intent. And that is what creates miracles. It is the power of conscious creation. Now, this is a journey we could walk our entire lives and probably never get it all down, right? But we can sure as heck try. And we can be, you really want to wake up? That's what the white hats know. That's what they know. And they know because they found out that the dark side knows. And that's the real war. And this dimension was starting to get to a place where that vibration was falling too low. That's really annoying. Where that vibration was falling too low. And whenever that happens, something like this happens, there's a shift. We have to not allow that to happen. They can't keep chipping rings off of this dartboard and get to the center. Well, they could never get to the center because once you get to the higher vibration, so they try to corrupt each dimension and lower that vibration and make it their own. Can't let that happen here. That's why this is happening now. So when you set up on your journeys, the way that we can more positively create is we need to think about our life like this. It's you and God on a journey. You come in alone and you leave alone, is what they say. Maybe physically. Never been alone. Never been disconnected. So you want to think about it like this. So imagine yourself in your car. And the car is your body. And you're the driver. And your perception is that you're in the car alone. And you don't really know how this thing works. And you're really not sure if you're putting the right fuel into it. But you know, if you push this and you turn that, it goes. And everybody's driving on their journey and, they're dodging rocks and taking wrong turns and getting back on the highway and everything else. And they don't know what the heck they're doing. And they roll down the window and they look over to the next guy and they say, "Hey, do you know where you're going?" And the guy said, "I don't know where. I'm following this guy." And that guy drives off a cliff. And you're like, "Okay, we're not doing that." I don't know where to go, and you're looking through the windshield, which are your eyes, and the side windows are your ears, and in the trunk you got all your baggage. And you're like, "I don't know if I can do this." And you pull over on the side of the road and reflect and say, "I don't know what the hell I'm doing or where I'm going or what's going on. I'm so alone." But all you really ever had to do is just turn around and look in the passenger seat because God's been sitting right there, experiencing everything with you the entire time. And all you had to do is say, "Where do you want to go now?" And he'll say, "I'm really glad that you asked me because I have a map. Tell me where you want to go and I'll show you how to get there." And it's as simple as that. Now, we still have to drive that car. We still have to brake and accelerate and turn. But we've got our guides sitting right next to us. And God, why does God love you? The whole concept of when you think about life this way, you don't really need rules because you don't want to do bad things to the other pieces of God who you love. And that's what I've always struggled with. Like when somebody does something really nasty, and I'm like, why would you even want to do that? I mean, I can't even comprehend it. We have been told in, I think it was, what do they call it, fables? Jesus' stories. We have been told these things But they put so much confusion. They rewrote his teachings, which traveled through word of mouth a long time before it wasn't even written down. That's why you got to sit with it. You got to sit with the Bible. You say, God, show me the truth. Help me feel it. Help me know how this relates to me and all that. But God loves you. It doesn't give up on you because He is you. He wants everything for yourself that you want for yourself. He wants the pain to stop. He wants to be free. He wants to give. He wants to love and be loved. He wants all of these things. It doesn't have to be such a struggle. And you never had to do anything alone. And this concept is very big, given to me in a very simple way. And if we are truly creators, which we are, we need to be a little more conscious about it. We need to see other people in this way. Doesn't mean you have to embrace everybody and their behavior. You just have to understand. If they don't see the way you do, maybe they're just not there yet. Nothing divine is forced. God doesn't inflict anything upon you. Every choice that you make in every moment and every day creates your personal reality. And every person you invite into your personal reality, their reality will merge with yours. Their problems become yours. Their triumphs become yours. We give people power over our emotions. So we have to, if we're really going to wake up, we have to take a look at it and take responsibility for what we have created. Now, you've got personal realities and you've got collective realities, and it goes on and on and on. It gets very complicated. I haven't learned all that yet. Got basic information so far. But the most important thing to know is at the very core of your being, you are love. And humanitarian spirits remembered that just a little bit more than the rest. And they feel a yearning, a desire, a pull, a calling at some point in time when they're not so distracted, because the dark side and the controllers, they keep everybody so distracted with just trying to survive and get along. They put all these thoughts and these theories and everything in your head to create confusion and to create that separation between you and God. Now, we came here to be human and to live here right now, so you got to stay grounded. But the concept that any one piece of God is more important than the other is false. The concept that maybe if you're good, He'll see you and He'll remember who you are is false. You only need rules to keep people in line because of these falsehoods, because of the separation theory that has been so embraced, and because of the vibrational level of the ring that we live on. This is common ground. Angels told me dark side was never supposed to be here, that they broke in, and they have tried to corrupt humanity ever since. Every choice that you make in every situation, to act, to not act, to react, has a ripple effect to it. So if you have to be the bigger one when somebody is not, we always protect ourselves. Survival, right? From the aggressors, from those who are attacking us, and that is okay. You can stand up for yourself and yours. But if it comes to a place where you become the aggressor out of revenge, you take a look at your motives. Take a look at your true divine intent. Where's this coming from? Is it jealousy? Is it ego? Is it control? Is it rage? Is it anger? Is it insecurity? The way I'm reacting? Next time, take a look at somebody else and maybe ask yourself about why they're reacting that way. Why are they acting that way towards me? Tune into that. See if it feels like one of those, and if it is, then we just understand. We state our case. Well, that's false. Mm-hmm. That's it. Now, if somebody keeps attacking you, of course, you go to prove yourself or whatever. But don't. Some of us spend so much time endlessly trying to prove ourselves to other people who would never even accept it anyway if it made sense to them at all, because they are against you because whatever you're doing or whoever you're being is highlighting some fault in them. Think about it. I gotta go pretty soon. I think I have till 10:30. Hang on, let me see. Yep. If you walk into a dark room, and this tell you about the prayer, power of creation. If you walk into a dark room, let's say a bedroom, and you got a little candle, does it illuminate the room? Yeah. Is there still a lot of darkness? Yeah. This is also why the souls and the people that are here now at this time and who feel this desire to help and to heal and to do good and to go out and to share are here. Now, if, let's say, 30 people walk into that room with the same candles, is it brighter? Yeah. That's what it's about. Now, if you bring God into the scenario with 30 people standing in that room with their little candles, but the little candles, is there still shadows? Yeah. Now you turn on the light on the ceiling. Now, how bright is that room now? How much darkness is left? Not much. Not much at all. You can only have a shadow when something blocks the beam of light. And that's what's been happening here on Earth. As the dark side has tried to create so many blocks in your beam of light that is your true essence coming from God to you. And what are those blocks? So that it creates confusion and it dims you. And then it controls the creation, you as a creator, and in turn, God. And they don't want that. They don't like that. Everybody's shining and casting out all the shadows. They don't like that. So that's in a nutshell what's really going on. And so we as a truther community, when you start to seek truth, what are you really seeking? Him? Whose work are you really doing? His? That's why I've said all this time is like, You've jumped onto the truther community, and for a long time you highlighted all the bad things and all the untruths. Is that important? Yeah. Do we stay there? No. No. We keep enough to know, and then we go out and we start lighting all the candles. And we flip on that big switch to the light on the ceiling, to the light at the center, to the highest of vibration. And we create a better world and a better life. And that is contagious. People will see you shining. There will be people who are in a dark place who don't like it when you shine. They will attack you. Be on the lookout for that. But understanding why they're attacking you will help with your reaction. They'll pull you in. They'll try to pull you in. Do not do that. As much as you can. You might momentarily. I am guilty of it. Like, no. Let's get back to a place of wisdom, okay? So what you got to know is it's not so much that you've been chosen. Nothing's been like, okay, you go out into this life and you will do this because I say so and I command it. Nothing divine is force. We have been given free will, freedom of choice, the freedom to create, and your life and your reality and whoever you invite into it will be a combination of all those things. Love creates. In healing, in life, in decisions, darkness destroys. And somehow, as human beings, we end up somewhere in the middle. But understanding this may help you in these situations that you come across when you go out there with your little candle. And you might walk into a very dark room. And you may need that light on the ceiling. It's up to you to flip the switch. Okay? It's you and God on a journey in your car. What happens when the car breaks down? You and God get out and you go home. That's the truth. So, God was never a vengeful God. Because in the highest of vibration, that cannot exist there. The biggest piece in the middle, it cannot exist there. It's like trying to light a flame underwater. Can't do it. It gets cast out. And the more candles that you light on your journey, the brighter this world will be. So let me check if there's anything else. Oh, doubt. I wanted to address doubt. Like I said, negative energies destroy, positive energy creates. Look at it like science. The more doubt that you put in to your life, the more fear, the more negative emotions and energy. It's kind of like all these shades that are diminishing the light that is coming into you. You ever see those monks that don't have to eat and they're like levitating or something? This trips you out. What do they know? Why is that possible? Well, because they have no distractions, and they're just like in constant communion with the creator. But are they pulling in more light of creation? And therefore they don't need as much food and they don't need as much rest? Yeah. That's why you don't have to eat in heaven. That's why you don't have to sleep in heaven. That's because you are located in a ring around the bullseye where you are receiving all of that. And you create instantly. That's the struggle of being here now, but it doesn't have to be so hard. Love God with all your heart and soul and let Him love you. And that's where forgiveness comes in. If you feel like, oh no, just like what people were when Jesus came, oh nope, I've done too much, there's no way I'm ever going to change, there's no way I'm ever going to get there, I mean, He's never going to accept me, blah blah blah, then you just walk up in prayer in your mind, picture yourself walking up to God and say, I have no excuse for myself at all. I have screwed up in so many ways, but honestly, deep inside me, I want you to love me, and I want to love you, and I want to do better. Will you do this with me now? Will you forgive me for it all? Wiped away. Absolutely. Absolutely. Start over. Okay? And when you set off on your journey and you're encountered by people that may be trying to take advantage, maybe trying to steer you away from your purpose, your chosen purpose, chosen, you choose. You chose. Pair up with God and talk to Him in your mind and say, help me figure this out. Help me know where to turn. This is my intention. Always state your intention to God. This is what I'd like to do. This is what I'd like to see. Thank you for giving this to me. Thank you for helping me do this. B, thank you, God. Create it. And the more positive you are, and the more you can't control the actions of other people, but you can control yours. Be ready to act. Some people sit around and say, well, God didn't give me anything. Well, yeah, you lazy slob. You sat on the couch, you quit your job, and then you didn't pay the bills, and you expected God to miraculously stop humanity from coming after you in an environment that you knew you had to pay bills in, and you had to work in, and you had to do all these things. You chose to do nothing, and so what you're experiencing is nothing. You chose not to face your problems head on, and so what you're experiencing is the snowballing of those problems. You chose to be angry and mean and vengeful to people, and that is a ripple effect that has come back to you. You chose it all. Even if it's a dark world right now, and you're going to go out to a dark world, and you're going to try your best to be that light, be that beacon of light. Be love, and love will find you. Be peace, and peace will find you. You will create it around you, and that is contagious, and that will spread. And that is why there is a large number of souls here right now who feel this yearning to do so. And there will be teachers all along the way. We can make this more like heaven on earth. And it starts with you and me and everybody else. So, and if you're a healer, I've learned a lot lately. Learning a lot lately. It's one of those times in my life where I'm learning. Every time I learn something, I share it with you. So, to cast we need to try and eliminate as much doubt as we can when you're doing a healing or asking for healing on somebody. And it has to be about them. It can't be heal them because I can't stand to lose them. Heal this 18-year-old dog because I cannot handle losing my friend. It has to be for them completely, just even in that moment. If you could step away from that for a moment and ask for it in a way that is selfless, it will be more effective. If it's a person and that person also believes that they can be healed, that it is possible, that's when you're going to see the miracles. That's when it's really, really going to work. It's pairing up together with God. And if the person you're trying to heal is together with God, and now it's all three of you with the big P, you're creating the healing for that person. So you don't have to know how to do it. The most powerful thing that I have learned is to say, in the name of Jesus Christ and God the Father, this body is clean. So if you want to add that in for yourself, in your own prayers, for others, when you pray for them, imagine yourself standing there with Jesus and put your hand on them and his hand on yours. Doesn't matter. There are no limitations when it comes to God. We're the only ones who put up the screens to block that. So you must believe with all your heart and all your soul and let yourself be loved. Okay? It's time to prepare. Something good's happening really fast. Okay? Imminent. And you guys are going to have to start out on your journey. So it's time to put this thought process in place and start seeing the world differently. Up until now, we've saw the world as us battling, and the dark side wants you to believe it's big and bad and strong. Nothing's. And the only reason they want you to believe that is because it's not true. Because the strongest force, because if we all remembered who we were, they just fade away like a shadow when you turn on the light. They know that. That's why they have to convince you that you are weak and you are small and you are insignificant and unloved and a sinner. Just be love and do it with God. Can't go wrong. Okay? All right. Getting off the soapbox. I got to get going. But thank you all guys for being here. I don't have new intel other than something's about to happen. I feel it coming. Something's about to happen and it's about to get good. All right. Have a great day. Let's see. Where's that? Bye.